Hello and welcome everyone. This is our annual newscast from Export Department here at FrieslandCampina, a Dutch dairy company. And today is a great day because we are announcing our entry into the new market, Latin America. And this report is prepared together with my wonderful colleagues Jeremy and Adobe. And you will hear in the next minutes why this region is chosen, what will be the first steps, what will be the strategy, marketing, and other important issues. So stay tuned with us. Alright, welcome back. We will continue with a short introductory video about FrieslandCampina and its value proposition, because I'm aware that most of you might not be familiar with the company, so please enjoy. Please note that the video will be fast forwarded for the sake of your precious time. I hope you found the video educational as well as entertaining, and so let's move on. Latin America is quite an appealing market as it accounts for 13% of global dairy supply. In the region, Brazil is the largest producer of milk in whole area, and also the population growth in Latin America is positive. Over the last 10 years, it averages 1.1%, and so Latin America is one of the fastest growing regions in terms of cow milk production. It has a 3.2% compounded annual growth rate. It is appealing in terms of resource availability. There's huge access to fresh water, low levels of water contamination, and vast land for animal grazing. When looking more deeply into the value chain, dairy value chain in Brazil, it is obvious that it's lowest at 26.5%. And we can see that farmers have the highest margins, the processors' margins have suddenly dipped, and retailers possess low margins, but there is we can see an average steady increase in retailer margins. So what we can conclude is that it's an enormous market, there's a stable growth potential, and there's even possibility of smaller firm acquisition. So that's conclusion. Why do we choose this attractive region? Next, I want to introduce you on the ways how we will implement our strategy in Latin America. And one of the key things is that we will base our production in Brazil, and there are several reasons for that. One is availability of raw materials, the other is cheap workforce, then product packaging could be sourced locally, and uncontested leader in the Latin American dairy market is also Brazil, with milk being the largest contributor. Latin American market we will enter firstly with two countries, Brazil and Mexico. Milk is a staple product in these regions. Milk accounts for 38% of Latin American dairy sales and over 25% local consumption overall. There's also future production opportunities. Other derivatives from milk like yogurt and cheese are popular as well. If we talk about supply chain and operations, essence of our entry strategy will be joint ventures. We will leverage the existing distribution channels of joint venture company, innovate existing channels by utilizing social media and online distribution models. Latin America is an entirely new market for FrieslandCampina. We will enter this market through conventional joint ventures with local dairy businesses in the region. We will hold at least a 49% stake in each of the businesses, and joint venture partner will provide the dairy inputs, infrastructure, and local knowledge, while FrieslandCampina will provide the technology and know-how for producing milk. Currently, we are in very strong negotiations with local company Vigor. Entering into the Mexican market, we will use phased approach and commence entry by producing and selling a lower-end skim milk powder brand, 3 Crowns Milk, in the Mexican market. 3 Crowns is an excellent entrant as Mexico presently imports over 83% of skim milk powder consumed. Locally, production eliminates the need to pay duties and associated importation costs. This translates to cheaper skim milk prices for Mexican customers and increased sales volume. Within a year of commencement, we will introduce additional brands as we expand into more Latin American markets. Thank you, dear viewer, that you are still with us. Following, you will hear more about marketing approach and our strategy, and also how we estimate, evaluate the overall strategy. What are the strengths and what are the minus for FrieslandCampina entering into Latin American markets. Stay tuned. See you soon. Alright, now we are heading toward international marketing. So we will enter the market with 3 Crowns, as said before, our high quality skim milk powder. So we will use local adaptation. Culture is an essential part of the Latin American landscape, so 3 Crowns will be marketed under the brand name Latina Light. Latina Light will be positioned at the lower end of the market to appeal to less wealthy consumers. Also, due to the obesity concerns in these regions, its low-fat content will make it a popular choice among more health-conscious consumers. So we hope so. Latina Light will also come in a variety of packages to accommodate all pockets and groups, larger pouches for families and smaller, low-unit portion packs for individuals or less wealthy consumers. Also, social focus, sourcing of inputs locally, creation of more jobs and provision of cheaper milk, which will resonate well with the Latin American population. Thirdly, Latina Light will be sold throughout a combination of traditional and modern trade channels, open market stalls, hypermarkets, and superstores. Now let's talk about advertising strategy. We know from research that Latin America is the fastest growing market for mobile advertising. Our advertising strategy will focus on video marketing across all mobile platforms, with an emphasis on healthy and active lifestyle. We will use 2 strong Latin American themes, sports and dance. The advertisements will be produced in the local languages for better customer engagement. We have now approached to the part where we discussed the strengths and weaknesses of our chosen strategy. So we will start with some weaknesses. There's of course some high risk profile with crime and corruption if we talk about Latin America. This is a systematic problem, and we will invest heavily in local security as well as leverage the partners' established relationships with the local authorities. Secondly, risk of incompatibility, conflicts in culture, business models, management practice, and marketing strategy. We will select joint venture partners only after extensive due diligence and mutual agreement of terms before the contracts are formulated. Third, limited control over Mexico operations. FDI rules specific to Mexico restrict foreign ownership in agricultural businesses to 49%. Alright, and now the strengths or the great things about this entry strategy. So, firstly, third market expansion opportunities. Secondly, ability to leverage local knowledge, contacts, distribution networks of the joint venture partner. Thirdly, access to vital resources, for example, large dairy herds in Brazil, natural resources, other things. Joint venture strategy is in line with Latin American FDI. Up to 90% foreign ownership is allowed. Next, high population growth rates, so the strategy is scalable. Clear gap in the Latin American market where we can establish our position. If we move forward, unfettered repatriation of capital in form of dividends to Netherlands, which is important for us, existing double tax treaties between Netherlands and 5 Latin American countries. So that's quite a huge pluses for this strategy. There were some alternative entry strategies that we did not select, and here's the reason for them. For example, first one is direct exportation. We understood that it's expensive to set up a reliable local agency and distribution network in Latin America. Secondly, there's a limited knowledge of the Latin American market. And thirdly, import and associated duties translate into higher prices for customers. Now, the second strategy we could have used is franchising, but there is lower returns. Secondly, limited or no control over quality of output and marketing strategy, potential risk of future competition from franchisee. And thirdly, we could have selected wholly owned acquisition. But first, companies need some degree of local knowledge and networks to operate successfully in this market. Secondly, limitations on extent of foreign participation in local businesses. Thirdly, it's too risky as this FrieslandCampina has no prior presence in this market. With this, we conclude our newscast from FrieslandCampina, and we believe that taking these steps, entering into this market, it will be success. And FrieslandCampina from Netherlands will regain its 6th position globally or better. Goodbye.